Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here and welcome back to my channel and another video that is brought to you through the EA Game Changers program because I am about to answer all of your questions about The Sims 4 Snowy Escape. It's coming out this Friday, the 13th of November, and as you guys know, I got early access a couple of weeks ago now, so that means I get to answer all of your questions. So first off, we have Sam Jones, who asks, I've been wondering if townies gain lifestyles and generate sentiments on their own. So I know for lifestyles, that fully depends on you playing them. I don't know if townies have lifestyles already attached to them before you actually play. I don't think they do from what I can remember. I know that they do already have pre-existing sentiments though. So there's actually two families that have a rift between them. The two women really like each other. They have like a mutual respect for one another. Whereas the two males in the families are actually like at loggerheads. One of them wants to develop the mountain, one of them wants to keep it very traditional and represent their culture. So they are in a loggerhead about that, and their sentiments actually reflect that. Susanna then asked, is renting still a part of vacationing, or can you rent when you're not on vacation? Okay. So this is kind of a difficult one because it's worded a little bit weirdly. Rentals are still part of vacationing. So you have to go on vacation to be able to rent something out. Like that's something that you have to do through your Sims phone. You have to have them go on vacation. However, they can now vacation in any world as long as you have switched a lot type in that world to be a rental. So you could have a house in Willow Creek. I actually did it with the Goths. I tested this theory. I took one of the houses in Willow Creek that's usually just opposite theirs and is usually a residential. I went in, I changed the lot type listing to a rental instead of residential, had them go on holiday, and they could rent out this lot in Willow Creek. So yes, you still have to vacation, but it opens up vacationing a lot. Lindsay asked me, can you use the new feature to take shoes off inside a home in other worlds? Yes, you can. This actually isn't a lot trait. I automatically assumed that it was just going to be a lot trait that you could assign to any lot. However, it is just a sign which has a sort of do not wear shoes sign in Simlish. It's a little bit annoying that it's a sign. However, you just click on this sign and you can set the rules. So you can have Sims wear slippers in the house or have them just take their shoes off and go bare feet. Remember, if you are living in Mount Komorebi, always remember to put socks on under your shoes. I kept messing it up and I was like, oh no, their toes are gonna get cold, because that's something you've never had to think about in The Sims 4. I don't really use socks very often unless you can see them with like turned up trousers, so I just was not used to adding socks to my Sims outfits. So before you get it, if you want to use that, make sure you add socks to all of your Sims outfits, minus probably like hot weather or their pajamas, because yes, it is against my beliefs to wear socks in bed. That is a sin, and I do not trust you if you wear socks in bed. I also didn't try this, but I've seen a couple of people complain that it's based on the sign. I'm fairly sure you'll be able to size that down and just like place it like behind something, because once you've set the rule, you don't need to interact with the sign at all. It just automatically applies to the lot when your Sims walk in or out. Extra Wine asked me, are the rock climbing walls usable outside of the mountains? I can't remember if you talked about this or not. Okay, so I want to clarify that I didn't test this personally. However, I saw a lot of other game changers who got early access, especially the builders, because obviously they were checking like debug and everything. I saw Platinum Simmers and I also saw Simproved ask why they weren't available in debug. So I'm like 90% sure that in the final version, they still won't be available in debug, and therefore climbing on the rock walls that like are on the side of the mountain will be restricted to Mount Komorebi. Do keep in mind that we were playing a very early access version of this, so things might be changed, but I'm like fairly certain if they weren't in debug in our build, I'm fairly sure when it's actually shipped, they also won't be in debug in the actual pack. Natasha asked whether apartments could be rentals, and unfortunately I didn't get to test this in my gameplay because when we do these virtual Sims camps or regular Sims camps, we only have access to base game and the pack that is coming out. However, Vitor got back to Natasha and said SimGuru Graham posted on his Twitter that only penthouses can be rentals or vacations. So those are the ones that sit on the very top of an apartment block and they're basically a house, which makes sense. So you cannot have apartments as rentals. The sarcastic simmer asked, what new recipes are there? Also, is there a kotatsu for 8 Sims? There isn't a kotatsu table for 8 Sims. There's one for 4 Sims and then there's one for 6 Sims. So unfortunately not one for 8. And I actually didn't unlock all of the cooking skill, so I don't know how many recipes there are in total, but I know that there are a couple of new recipes that you can, one, cook at home. There are 3 new recipes on the hot pot, so if you have the hot pot item, you can create 3 recipes on there. And then there are also new things to buy at the food stalls, at festivals, and also in the vending machines. Devin asked me, can children go skiing and snowboarding on the intermediate, expert, or ludicrous slopes? Nope. They can only go skiing and snowboarding either on the bunny slope or the beginner slope. Those are the slopes that the child is limited to. Even if they have a 10 motor skill, they can't go any higher than the beginner slope. Emily asks, are there any secret lots? Yes, there is one buildable lot at the top of the mountain. So if you complete an excursion, you manage to reach the summit of Mount Komorebi, you can actually build on that lot, which is really cool, but then you do have to do the excursion every time you want to reach the top of that because you can't travel there on the map because it doesn't exist. One more kayaker. Oh my god, you sound as if you belong in this pack, like doing all the extreme sports. Is the rock climbing skill in Snowy Escape the same as the one in fitness stuff? Technically, no, because currently if you have fitness stuff, it just builds up your fitness or your athletic skill. I think it's called fitness in The Sims 4. If you buy Snowy Escape, that will actually update, so the climbing wall that you have in fitness stuff will actually instead build your Sims climbing skill because it's a completely separate skill in Snowy Escape. So snowboarding, skiing, and climbing are the 3 new skills. They're all their own skill. The fitness stuff treadmill will then raise your climbing skill if you have Snowy Escapes instead of your fitness skill. I hope that makes sense. Elizabeth B asked, does the chopstick savvy trait from City Living reappear here, or does it only affect your game if you have City Living? I'm actually not too sure about this. I'm answering this question though because you can actually set your sim to use chopsticks like most of the time. I think all of the time, but depending on what they eat maybe. But you can choose what chopsticks they use now as well. So there's metallic ones, there's a treated wood version, there's just a regular wood version, and then I think there's plastic. So there are 4 different chopstick types that your Sims can use, and if you set them to use chopsticks, they'll use them for most, if not all, of their meals. They also make different sounds as well. So the sound design is actually super accurate because if you use the metallic ones, there's more of like a metallic ding to it, whereas if you use wooden ones, they're a bit more quieter, which is just a tiny little detail, but I really appreciate it. I don't know how the chopstick savvy trait comes into it. Shanae K asks, can you go sledging with dogs? Yes, I say sledging. Everyone has been commenting on my videos like, why do you say sledging instead of sledding? Sledding isn't a thing in the UK. We call it sledging, okay? I'm not just mispronouncing sledding. Sledding is the American term. We use sledging. But no, you cannot go sledging with dogs. However, if you do have cats and dogs and you purchase Snowy Escapes, you can actually take your dog on hikes with you. Just a cute little feature, I thought I'd throw it out there. Anina asks, is the place you go snowboarding and skiing a lot type or is it open world kind of? it's pretty much open world. So you travel to the onsen because that's obviously in the Yukimatsu area. It's in the snowy area up near the mountain. So you travel to either a residential lot if you change them to residential, or to the onsen, and then from there you can go to the left and you'll find the bunny slope, you'll find the ski lift, the cable cars. You'll find the cable cars, you'll also find a climbing wall. So it's sort of open world. It's basically an open neighborhood. You can also go on hikes in this area. So the areas are quite large and you won't have to go through loading screens like even for the ski lift. Your sim will just teleport from the bottom to the top of the mountain. Speaking of having a residential lot up in Yukimatsu, the mountainous area of Mount Komorebi, Ariel actually said, can you take off the rental status on the rental homes in the snowy part of Mount Komorebi? Yes, you absolutely can. As I said, rental is literally just a lot type, so you can change that lot type to anything you want. You can make it a bar, you can make it a park, you can make it literally any lot type in the game. You can also just make it residential. So those rentals that are already up there, if you like the look of them, you can just change it to residential and have your Sims live there. I think that's what I'm planning to do for my Let's Play. Another question about rentals, and Callisto said, I understand you can set up a house as a rental, making it so all worlds can become vacation worlds. Does this mean rentals in vacation worlds can be changed to permanent homes? Nope, it's not backwards compatible. So the vacation worlds that we currently have, such as Granite Falls, and also, what else is, oh, the Jungle Adventure one, Salvadorada. No, you cannot change those rentals to be residential. They are literally still destination worlds. You can only go on vacation there. You cannot change the lot type. Cancel culture, very important question. Is there snow depth in other worlds with seasons installed? No, there isn't. This, I don't really know how to feel about this because snow depth isn't a massive thing in this pack. There is different depths of snow. It tends to hit on the mountain area, so your sim does have to like traipse through heavy snow at certain points on their excursions, but it's not a big thing. Like, it doesn't really affect how you play the game. However, it kind of doesn't sit right that those years ago when we got seasons, they were like, oh, we can't do snow depth, like we had a lot of issues with it. I can't really remember what the reasoning was behind no snow depth in seasons, but we didn't get it, and it was kind of just flat snow. Whereas now we sort of have snow depth, which I get like a few years on, but it just seems a little bit weird to me that they would add it in this pack and not seasons. This one confused me when I was playing this pack. I thought that this was gonna be part of the pack because it was such a prominent feature of the trailer itself, but Butterfly says, will social media profiles get an update? The group photos in the trailer looked awesome. Unfortunately not, which I think is a big missed opportunity again of this pack. I didn't really think about it, but no, we aren't getting an Instagram or a Simstagram update, as they like to call it. That is purely for promotional content over on the Sims Instagram and also for the trailer of the pack. So we know that school uniforms are coming with Snowy Escape. If you have a family actually live in Mount Komorebi and you have kids or teenagers, when they go to school, they'll actually automatically get changed into a uniform. And although this question wasn't asked, but no, you cannot apply that to any other world. That is exclusive to Mount Komorebi. You can add a school uniform as like an everyday wear for a kid if you want to change it manually before they go to school every single day. I definitely won't. That's far too much effort for me. Literally a click of a button. I'm like, that's too much thought in 2020. Head empty, no thoughts in here. Can you change the outfit that they wear? So can you customize the school uniform that they wear? No, you cannot. It's automatic. So it's kind of like when adults go to work and they just automatically get changed into an outfit, a work outfit that you haven't picked. You can't change the color of the uniform. You can't set a preference for what uniform your kids wear. Fingers crossed they won't change like halfway through. And I can't remember how many colors there are to choose from, but I guess like different schools or maybe like different houses. I know in the UK, in our schools, you wear school uniforms, and some schools have like different houses, or if they're academies, they have different like uniforms or colors of ties and stuff, so they split you off. So maybe that's to do with it, because obviously all the kids who live in Mount Comarebi will be wearing slightly different variants of the same uniform depending on the colour that they wear. And finally, I know I've talked about the career a lot in my previous videos, but just in case you haven't watched them, Billy asks, are there any new careers in the pack? And yes, there is one new career. It is an off-the-lot career, so you just send your Sims to work, they go off-lot, they'll do their thing. You do get a couple of fun pop-ups. I actually, whilst I was playing, I got one that said that my co-workers wanted to go to karaoke after work and whether my Sim should sing or decide to keep quiet. Obviously, these pop-ups are like usual, they'll affect your work performance, but it is just a usual career that we have in The Sims 4. Disappointed that there's only one career. I would have liked to see maybe like a ski instructor or a climbing or snowboarding instructor. I think that would have been quite fun, especially if it had been like a semi-active career where you could send them off to work, or you could maybe go to work with them and have them work on the mountain. I think that would have been really fun, but salary person is the only career that we are getting in Snowy Escapes. And there we have it. That's pretty much all of your questions that you asked. I hope this cleared up some thoughts and queries that you guys had about this pack. Once again, big thank you to EA and the Game Changer program for providing me with early access so that I could get this information for you guys. And do keep in mind the base game update is happening on Tuesday, so that will include platforms, which is such a big deal and such a game changer when it comes to build mode, and also sentiments. So sentiments will be coming in the base game update, so you'll all get to explore sentiments on Tuesday if you update your game. Big thank you for all of your questions. I really appreciate you guys getting involved with this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any more that I maybe might not have answered, leave them down below. I'll try and get back to as many of you as possible, and I will speak to you all in my next video. Bye guys!